2. Welcome, everybody, once again to another special edition episode of B&B Hockey Talk, the Vancouver Canucks edition. I'm Aaron Bloxall with my co-host, Mr. Matt Balzer. Matt, Canucks stink out the joint in Dallas, the American Airlines Arena last night, and absolutely get destroyed 6-1. I think they only have one win in their last 8. That whole beginning part of the season where everybody was excited, they looked great. It's now evened out, and they're barely hanging on to that playoff spot, which is still good. They've still positioned themselves well. What's going on with the team, and are you glad that they had the good part of their season at the beginning rather than right now? Because I think it would be fans' psychology would be, oh, what's Pettersson doing? He's going through this sophomore slump. You know, where are these guys? And then all of a sudden they get hot, kind of like Dallas. Dallas had that really bad part of the. You got to understand, Dallas went 1-7, and they basically are only 2 points ahead of the Canucks right now. Because the Canucks had such a strong start. They've done well for themselves, you know, to get that lead. But now everybody's caught up, and now they need to get going again. What can they do to change that?
Yeah. So we also got to take into account that the Canucks also had the easiest schedule in the NHL in October as well. But yeah, they're 2-5-3.
And they're only 1 out of 6 on this road trip. That's going to be, everybody saw it coming. It's going to be a heck of a hard road trip. I mean, a lot of people were saying 6 out of 12 points would be great.
Yeah, and yeah, so they got Nashville coming up tomorrow.
By the way, they've also only 1 win in their last 8.
Yeah, they actually have identical records. So Nashville and Vancouver are both 1-5-2 in their last 8. So if you're looking at winnable games on this road trip, this will be one to be circled, because you got Washington on the weekend,
and
which
it's no easy task either to win in Nashville.
Yeah. So Washington, Philly, Pittsburgh, Edmonton, those are all teams that are rolling for the most part. Philly's sort of been up and down a little bit. But yeah, there's no tough games. But yeah, right now, special teams aren't getting it done, especially the power play of late. Like I know they at home they scored some power play goals. But like four of the 6 goals on the 4-game homestand came from the second unit. And not from the top unit. And a lot of those goals weren't exactly like set plays or whatever. A couple of them were off the rush and all that. And like the Canucks, like their zone entries are dreadful. Like they just can't get a clean exit. And especially last night's game, they couldn't make a tape-to-tape pass to save their life. It was just like they had a minute 15 5-on-3. And they just couldn't get anything going. Josh Levo, I don't understand why he was in the one-timer spot on a 5-on-3 power play. It doesn't make any sense for me. I'm just like, if we're gonna do a right-hand shot, especially if you're not gonna have Besser there, I'd rather have put Gaudette there. I know he's on the second unit, but you're looking for one.
In Levo's defense, he has been one of the Canucks' best forwards in the losing causes in the last few games, and that's not just my opinion. I know that's a lot of experts' opinions here in the Vancouver market that have been watching the Canucks.
Yeah, but just like strictly from a top power play unit wise, like he shouldn't be on there, especially on a 5-on-3, just with all the other weapons that they have.
I mean, that should be Besser's spot.
Yeah,
99 times out of 100. So.
Yeah, because I'd rather see Gaudette and Besser both on as a right-hand shot there if we are going to do that. And then also the goaltending hasn't been as good. Markstrom has really struggled of late. And Demko's been doing pretty good. He had the rough game against Colorado where there was a few goals that he would have liked back. A couple of short side blocker side goals.
The Kadri goal is the one that stands out there for sure.
Yeah, it's just, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they do to give Demko a run of games, because we do know Markstrom, just from a personal level, he did lose his dad to cancer last week. That he announced. So just mentally, it might just be good to give Markstrom a bit of a break as well, and let Demko take control for a little bit. But it's not just the goaltending. The defensive play has also been dreadful in front of them as well. The Canucks have been outscored 35-23 this month, and especially that last.
like we said before the air, the D seem to be backing in on the goaltenders, and their gap control seems very poor.
Yeah, and it's just that, and then there's just so many just wide open plays where where like I take like the Heiskanen goal from last night, where it was just like a nice give and go, but they were just able to walk in and just like nobody attacked them or whatever. It's just like a really easy goal, and then Louis Eriksson, I don't understand how this guy is on an NHL roster. He had like on the opening goal, he had the terrible clearing attempt up the middle. Just got to center ice, and then which led to a bad line change for the Canucks, and then Jamie Benn was just able to walk right into the slot and score.
Yeah, he was kind of responsible for two goals that happened there. So
yeah, and then the Dowling goal, where he just ended up taking out Markstrom more than anything. But it wasn't just him. Like Berti got caught on the Fedun goal, not being able to check him, and then just the defense. In general, Alex Edler. This is a frustrating thing with Edler because he's one of our best defensemen, but he's also a very frustrating guy to watch.
well, and you and I, before we came on air, we said that has something to do with potentially him playing too many minutes in a night and being too heavily reliant. I mean, his ice time, 25 plus minutes a night right now, is just way too much, I think, for him. At his age, he can constantly do that.
Yeah, he took his lead 15th minor penalty of the season last night. And then just getting back to that Colorado game, I know they were pressing for a goal, but he played 11 minutes and 45 seconds of that third period, which is just crazy, especially when you got guys like Hughes that you can ride on more if you're looking to jumpstart the offense. But it's just one of those things where, hey, it's just like you might be okay now, but it's just like if you're looking long term over the full season wise, it's just like we brought it up last week. You got to try to manage his minutes as best as you can. But saying that, like him and Hughes are tied for the defensive scoring league. They both have 14 points so far this year. But it's like eventually you got to try to get some offense from the other defenders. Stetcher had a goal against Dallas, but Tyler Myers. I think some of it's just been bad luck, but only 4 assists this season, no goals. He does have 43 shots on goal, so a little bit of bad luck because you think he would have had at least a couple there by now. But eventually, it's like offensively, you got to try to start to contribute offensively.
And I don't think you're expecting much out of Tanev and Ben from the back end. So the upcoming road trip, you mentioned Washington. It's going to be a really tough game to pull out any points in that game. They have had a lot of success in Pittsburgh the last few years, though. Brock Besser seems to like that place. I can see them, for some reason, winning in Pittsburgh. Philly, they've had some success. Nashville, like you said, I think it's going to be tough to win there. But it is a team that's struggling as well that the Canucks hopefully can take advantage of. And then Edmonton, the Canucks historically play good in Edmonton, but that's mostly because the Sedins were so dynamite there. And Edmonton's not going away anytime soon, so
the way McDavid,
it'll be a tough road trip.
Yeah, especially with the way McDavid and Draisaitl just keep racking up points. It's insane because I just saw like McDavid has 13 points this week, and Blake Wheeler has 12 points all season. So like McDavid points in a week. And Wheeler, yeah, it's just not to get off topic, but it's just insane how good McDavid's been.
Yes,
of late.
A lot of these injuries, Mott, Ferland, Roussel's potentially coming back, Sutter. I'm gonna say a lot of these guys are energy guys that they seem to be missing, and play a big part in not just the Canucks, the way they play defensively and kill penalties and stuff, but they just provide that energy that others can feed off of. Do you think that's missing with these guys, and would it be important to try to get a Roussel in the lineup sooner than later?
Yeah, I think so, because if you're replacing those guys with Eriksson, Berti, and those types of guys, it's more like Berti is more skilled. Eriksson, I don't know what he brings, but other than his average 6 minutes.
Well, I mean, Corey Schneider down in the AHL now, Andrew Ladd in the AHL. Craig Button saying Milan Lucic is no longer an NHL player. Is Louis Eriksson still an NHL player? That's, I think that's really not even a debate. I think most Canuck fans would say he's not.
Yeah, because I'm interested to see, because I'm just the way Travis Green has been using him. I don't think he wants to play Louis, and I wonder if it's maybe an ownership or a management decision where they don't want to send Louis down, because that has to be the only thing that's happening, because I don't think Travis Green wants to play Louis Eriksson with this all the guys that they have. But it's interesting to see, because I think he should be down in the AHL. And it's just like you just got to eat.
Do what? Take away time from guys like, Cole Lind and stuff. Like I don't know. I don't know what you do with them.
Well, it's where it depends on how they use him, because he also got the veteran rule, so it's like they can put him in and out of the lineup or whatever. But yeah, like those types of energy guys, like they really miss Mott, Roussel, Ferland, because at least those guys like Roussel, hopefully, because he finally got cleared for contact. And he's actually on this road trip.
And he looks excited to play, doesn't he?
Man, I can't wait to get him back. Like you want to talk about somebody that can drag a team into a game just for him, like starting to chirp or just give a guy a little shot or something like that. I'll be interested to see, because like they say early December he'll be back, but you never know with him being cleared now, and it just sort of depends on how the knee's holding up. And getting him back, like Michael Ferland. He's taking
correct me if I'm wrong, but when Roussel played his first game as a Canuck coming off an injury last year, didn't he scored a goal, or was it the second game where he scored a goal on a penalty shot?
Yeah. So that was the Florida Panther game where Vincent Trocheck had scored earlier in the game, and he was like super excited and whatever. And then Roussel scored on I believe a penalty shot, and he basically mimicked his celebration or whatever. There's a total troll job there. But that's the stuff that I miss, and he's also underrated offensively too, which helps. So like getting him, and then Michael Ferland, that's another big body. I know he wasn't getting exactly like big minutes when he was playing, but he was starting to produce offensively. And he's another big body, and Tyler Mott.
Tyler Mott's the Energizer Bunny. I mean, he blocks a shot and breaks his foot and just keeps going and going, right? So
yeah, because like that fourth line, they haven't really found exactly a player to fit on that fourth line with Schaller and Beagle since he's been out of the lineup. And then Sutter, like I guess he's been a bigger blow to the lineup than it has been, because like we've seen Horvat playing like 26, 27 minutes, basically taking every face-off imaginable, with Beagle being out the last couple of games as well. It really does hurt down the middle, though I do like that Gaudette's been able to play at center, and actually I think he's played quite well for finally being able to play consistently at center.
And I can see where the Canucks were at when they sent Barchi down to the farm. Based on his play, I mean, he's an offensive player. He's getting lots of chances to play with Horvat, and he's not really producing offensive numbers. He's been a defensive liability the last couple of games. Like Fedone walked around him for his goal and setting up another one of Jimmy Benn's other goals, I believe. He hasn't looked great, and Gaudette playing the wing hasn't looked great to me, but he's been better than what Barchi's been bringing to the club.
Yeah, because I was bringing up, it's like I don't think it would hurt the club if you send Barchi down and call Godolphin up, because it's similar player, and Godolphin's been playing well. He has another goal tonight for Utica so far in their game, and he's been playing at a point just above a point a game level down in the American Hockey League. So I wouldn't mind, and it gives you another player to maybe play in your top six. Maybe you reunite him with Pettersson or something like that.
I think the risk of that, though, is you could still lose Barchi on waivers on the way down.
I still think with the cap hit, it's like unless if some team has like a super long-term injury, I don't think you're gonna have the risk. Like Godolphin possibly, I could see just because his cap hit isn't that high. But I think Barchi, I think he would be fine if he does go through waivers again, just because of the cap hit and the term left on his contract as well. But yeah, it's just something like they just got to figure out how to score, because this tweet that from Thomas Drance from The Athletic today, he basically posted a few stats from the Canucks 5-on-5 play through November, So they've actually been playing quite well. It's just been a bit of bad luck. So they've out-attempted opponents by 70. They've outshot opponents by 29. But they're shooting at a 4.4 shooting percentage, which is quite poor. So some of it's a little bit of bad luck. But eventually it's like something's got to get the river going, sort of thing.
I think to some fault of theirs, they seem to be overthinking things and overpassing it. I've seen Miller, Pettersson, Besser. They've had chances to shoot and they end up passing, and it catches the other person off guard because they're in a shooting spot. I also saw last night Corey Hirsch posted that the scoring chances were actually 14-14. Yet the Canucks lost 6-1, and it just means that they're just not bearing down in scoring like they did earlier on. So, but I don't see them playing as a unit like they did before. I see more individual play happening, guys trying to do too much, and or overpassing and overthinking things.
Yeah, because like I think like the one frustrating thing when it comes to like Pettersson is like sometimes we like he loves that perfect shot, like he loves that curl drag or whatever and trying to pick that corner or whatever. And that was like a thing where the Canucks tried to address, and that comes with like guys like Ferland and stuff being out of the lineup, is just getting the puck on net and crashing for rebounds and getting some dirty goals like that, because like the Canucks really haven't had too many goals like that. Because Miller had usually been good like that. He'd been getting like the tip goals or going hard to the net like that. But yeah, it's just something like they just got to simplify their game. Getting into the cliches here, but and just get that puck.
They really do.
Yeah,
they have to just get back to basics. And I mean, that power play they had in LA where they got 3 power play goals, everything was a quick setup and then a shot on net. Like Hughes was firing it at net a lot, and rebounds and stuff were coming to Besser and Pettersson, and it wasn't looking for the pretty play. Those developed out of weird bounces or block shots or whatever. But with them just getting the puck to the net, it was creating chances, and that's I think what they were doing in that game.
Yeah, because that's just the one thing. It's just they just got to figure something out. And I wonder with like especially with just getting the puck in the zone or whatever. Another thing is it's like Pettersson still rarely gets the drop pass on the power play, which I still like would like to see, because I think Harmon Dial, another guy from that I brought up, it's just like McKinnon's getting the puck basically like every time going up the ice after the drop pass or whatever.
He's a little faster than Pettersson though.
Yeah,
and I think that's why they give it to Horvat, is mostly you want to attack the D with speed. So, and then you saw Tanner Pearson attack Ryan Ellis with speed the one time, and Ellis had to guess, and he blew right past Ellis and scored that goal against Nashville.
Yeah, and thank goodness for Pearson, because he had been in such a huge slump there, especially with all the top 6 time he'd been getting, and now he's back up to like a half a point game player, which is good, and it's just another thing where it's just we gotta try to get the secondary scoring again, like Josh Leivo. Like I know he's been getting the assists, but he only has 2 goals on the season, and I don't want to harp against his players. I actually think he's been playing quite well, but eventually it's like you got to try to get the secondary scoring, and then it does come down to your big guns. Like Bo Horvat scored his first even strength goal of the season last night, which is crazy to think that all his goals have come on the power play before that. But hopefully with at least for Horvat getting that goal, hopefully that can get him going. And just another thing with Travis Green that I've been seeing is I would like to see some consistent lines because he likes switching things up. He's been switching things up pretty quickly as the games go along. And the one line that I still think needs to stay together no matter what is the Lotto line in Miller, Pettersson, Besser. Like no matter what, you got to keep those guys together, because you just need some consistency in just the way that they play. It's like there's no need to break them up. And then of course we're back in the same position for Horvat and his rotating wingers.
Yes,
I think he's up to like 8 or 9 different line combos.
Actually, here's an observation too, and this has actually been in the back of my mind for the last few weeks. I noticed in probably the last 7-8 games that the Canucks have played, which they've only won once in, they seem to be doing a lot of giving up on the play when they're hooked or slashed and there's no call being made. I've seen it a lot with Horvat. I've seen it with Pettersson where he's looking around at the refs, right? I've seen it even with Besser. I've also seen it from Travis Green when a soft penalty is being called and stuff. He's really on top of the refs, and it's almost like they need to just almost like it's starting at the top down on the Canucks, and they need to just unfocus from what the refs are doing and focus on playing the game.
Yeah, I see that though. It's like as a player, it's like I can sort of sympathize with what because
I can totally sympathize, but you know, like I saw Horvat go in and he had a scoring chance, and the guy really got him in the hands, and it probably should have been a penalty, and he just gave up on the play. But the body language on the guy was like, you know, he was just dejected. But because of that, it took him an extra 10 seconds to get to the bench for a change, right? And the rest of the team sees that and feeds off of that, right, in a negative way.
Yeah, but it's just like I can see that, but it's just like there were some like outrageous misses or whatever, like going.
The Pettersson hook was.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was.
Yeah, I mean that one aside, I mean nobody understood that one, but I still see a bunch of things. I've seen a lot of weird calls too. Where on like Jordy Ben and Stetcher even had one. I think it might have been Barchi got one.
No, J. Beagle last night was a pretty soft one.
I mean, they seem to get one or two soft ones. Green looks at the screen and then he'll look at the penalty, he'll look at the iPad, and then he'll right away rip into one of the refs. But I mean, the team's feeding off of that. It goes right through the team. Yeah.
Well, eventually, it's all they gotta do is get that one win, and hopefully they can get things going again. So, but yeah, it's eventually.
Instead of talking about the negative stuff, why don't we talk about some of the positive stuff? What's going on with the Canucks prospects in depth?
All right, yeah. So Utica going on. They got Reed Boucher back from injury, and he scored a hat trick in his first game back. He has now 13 goals in 11 games, which is just crazy. I call him
great AHL player, not a great NHL player.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I call him the Wayne Gretzky of the AHL so far this year. Nikolai Godolin has a goal so far. He now has 5 goals, 17 points. Currently this season, but the biggest prospect going on right now in Utica, Brogan Rafferty, has been absolutely ripping it up.
I'm super excited about him, and I'm really excited about Cole Lynn's development as well.
Yes. So Rafferty, he had two assists in the first period today, bringing up his totals to 2 goals and 12 points in 18 games as a rookie defenseman in the American Hockey League. The coaching staff has been raving about him. He's probably been one of the best rookies in the American Hockey League this year. And it'll be really interesting to see how long it takes before he can get back up in the lineup here in Vancouver. But yeah, he's been really impressive. Cole Lind has 3 goals, 12 points, 16 games so far this season. He had another power play goal against Wilkes-Barre on the weekend. A nice redirect from the slot, pick in the corner. Those have been the big standouts. Mitch Elliott, another defenseman with Yolevi being injured. Oh yeah, that's another thing we got to touch on. Mitch Elliott taking over Yolevi's ice time. He has a goal, 3 points in 7 games. And let's touch forgot about the goaltending. Michael DiPietro has been played in about 9 games, but he's 4-3-0 with a 1.96 goals against average and a 9.28 save percentage. He's given up 1 goal through the first period last time I checked in their game tonight. But yeah, he's been outstanding.
It's 3-3 after 2 there right now.
Okay, yeah. So the numbers will take a bit of a dip after today's game, but he's been playing really well. And let's get into this Olli Juolevi situation. So
by the way, before we do that, I was going to mention Josh Teves is another one that I'm pretty high on, that I've really liked what he's been doing. He's kind of the lefty, right? And Rafferty's the righty. Those are the ones that I'm interested in. Although I guess Schottner and Brisebois are also lefties and have had more NHL experience so far.
Yeah. Brisebois has actually been playing pretty well. Teves and Chatfield, they haven't been getting the points but they have been playing well defensively because Tevez just has the one assist in 12.
I believe Tevez plays with Rafferty though, and they seem to feed off of each other a lot. So
Yeah. But Tevez has been playing really well. Chatfield's still pointless in 13 games, but he's been playing well defensively. And he got the call up there last week as well.
So O'Leary gets hurt again.
Out definitely.
I mean, all Canuck fans are thinking is Matt Tkachuk.
Yeah.
I don't think O'Leary's gonna ever work out as an NHL player.
It's just with these injuries. So it's like the update right now is like he apparently he blocked a shot, or that's the rumor. And now he's out indefinitely. He flew back to Vancouver. He's getting checked out by team doctors. I think I saw somebody had asked Benning today for an update, but they're still waiting to hear. And this is like what happened last year, where they thought the injury was minor, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, he's been out long term. Now what? But apparently, at least this is a separate lower body injury from what he had last year. So hopefully that could be some good news for timeline-wise. But, yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like he looks like he's about to get going, and then he gets another injury, and then it's just like, okay, now we're right back to where we started sort of thing. And then, I wasn't expecting the world out of him to start the season just because he's coming off a knee injury and it takes a little bit to get going. But it's just one of those things where it's just like, all right, somewhere it's like, something has to start to get going, and now it's just, all right, well, I guess we can write off another season or whatever.
Yeah, for me, if once he comes back from injury and starts playing again, I would consider trading him or moving him along.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up on him yet. Like, I still want to see if it isn't a long-term injury, what he can do, and because I would like to see him get into at least a few NHL games this year, but
he is still 2 years younger than Rafferty and Tevez, so.
Yeah. So it's like age-wise, and for younger prospect defensemen, usually they do take around. Well, usually be around the 22 years old year. That's where they should be getting into some NHL games at least and starting to go through. So he's 21 this year, but if the health isn't matching up with that, then
they're going to have guys like Jack Rathbone and Jet Wu nipping at the heels to get in the NHL too soon. So
yeah, and getting into the rest of the prospects, so getting Jack Rathbone, as he just brought up, now has 3 goals, 7 points in 5 games for Harvard in the NCAA. He's been really smaller defenseman, but really smooth skating, and has been an absolute force for them this year. Jet Wu, who's also coming off, I believe, a knee injury or something like that this offseason. Offensively, it hasn't been like the crazy point totals that he had last year, but he has a goal, 9 points in 19 games for the Calgary Hitmen. But the two prospects I'm going to highlight, Tyler Madden, playing for Northeastern this year. In his last 9 games, has 8 goals and 14 points. Absolute force there, and I can't wait to see if he does decide to turn pro next season, especially with the way that he's been going. Just totally leading that team, and also Petrus Palmu out in Finland now has 7 goals, 18 points in 13 games, matching his point total from last year in Liga, where he had 18 points in 29 games. So I'm not sure where he stands with the Canucks, but at least offensively, he's taken another step over in Finland.
He's a tiny guy with a big heart, that's for sure. Jet Wu, a guy I mentioned, physically he would be ready for the NHL, especially after seeing an NHL training camp, I think, this year. I'm interested to see if he really makes a push and if the Canucks give him a chance to make the team next year. He might be one of those surprise guys that can step right into the NHL rather than playing a year in the AHL.
Yeah, because it'll depend on what they do with Tanev and Stetcher this offseason. Because, of course, Tanev being the UFA, and then Stetcher sort of comes down to salary and what you want to do with a third-pairing defenseman. As much as I love Stetcher, it's where it comes down money-wise, what exactly what they want to do there, and with Rafferty, because especially with the third-pairing defenseman, if they're going to play limited minutes, and if Rafferty continues his progression, you might want to look for him just for on the dollar side to maybe make the team next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jet Wu physically, yeah, and especially because we know his draft year, he was an offensive force, but then he got hurt, and when he came back, he was more of a defensive defenseman.
Yeah, I think he's always been a defensive defenseman, and those numbers are kind of an anomaly.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where exactly he sort of ends up. If it's more on the defensive side and he can chip in offensively here and there. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he does end up. And I guess he's still a shot for Canada at the World Juniors this year. I'm not sure where everything sets up, but I think he should at least get an invite to camp. But I think there's a lot of guys ahead of him. But
yeah,
it's something.
Well, guys like Bowen Byram would be ahead of him for sure. So.
But yeah, otherwise, I think that's about it. Otherwise, it's just it's a typical Canuck November going on right now, unfortunately. But hopefully, with the 5 games left on this road trip, hopefully they can start to turn things around.
It'd be nice if they can pull out at least 3 wins out of those 5. It's gonna be tough, but we can wait and see. That's for sure.
Yeah. So otherwise, Nashville tomorrow, and then Washington on the weekend. And then Philly will be the other game before we do our next Canuck talk next week. So hopefully there'll be less swearing at the television this weekend, and hopefully a couple more goals at least to keep us entertained. But as you said, we're still in the second wild card position even through this slide, because at least with teams like Vegas and Calgary who have sort of been around that 500 mark.
Well, Vegas is ahead of us now, but Calgary is really struggling. That's not going to last forever. So.
Yeah. So at least right now they're in a good spot with other teams struggling, and if they can get on another good run here, especially because if they can go 500 on this road trip and go into December where they have all those home games, and they can build off that, I think that'd be really good for them.
And a bit of an easier schedule, I think, as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm Aaron. He's Matt. This has been B&B Hockey Talk, special Vancouver Canucks episode. Thank you for joining us. As always, hit that like or subscribe button, whether you're following us on YouTube or Facebook. And we'll be back on Friday with our Around the NHL segment, where we get to talk about a fired coach today. So look forward to that. Everyone have a great evening, and we'll see you guys on Friday.